Good morning, everyone. Good morning to TikTok. Hey, guys, good to see you. Good morning also to our crew over on Facebook and YouTube as well. Happy Tuesday. It is Tuesday morning here in Sydney, Australia. It is a wet morning and I kind of like it, to be honest with you guys. I've missed a bit of rain. It's been a pretty dry couple of weeks here in Sydney, so it kind of feels good to have a little bit of rain back on the horizon, so to speak. I know it's not so good for people in the state above New South Wales and also in the northern parts of New South Wales as well. So southeast Queensland is bracing itself for a unprecedented storm event, weather event that is due to hit them Thursday afternoon, Thursday night, Friday morning, I believe. We've got a Cat 2 cyclone Alfred, that is off the coast of southeast Queensland, and it is a pretty nasty wee storm coming through. So if you are in Queensland, especially southeast Queensland, northern New South Wales, we are thinking of you all. I'm sure you're in preparation mode at the moment. I hear that food has been stripped from shelves and all sorts of manner of generators being sold out, etc., etc. So having just been on the Gold Coast this time last week, and this is potentially where that storm will make land, is between the Gold Coast, Brisbane, right up to Sunshine Coast is expecting to make landfall there. We have you in absolutely our best of thoughts and also preparation mode. For many of you guys who are doing the 28-day boost camp, we of course are on day 2 of week 2. Just making sure that you guys are fine. And of course, it's okay to have a break, because if there's a storm coming, you've got to do what you've got to do. And from what I've seen, being reported, is that the shelves are bare. And people are preparing for a potential 3-day loss of power, not being able to move around, no running water. So just setting all our thoughts and attention, of course, and anything that we can do. If you guys got any questions on what can happen as the storm bears down on southeast Queensland and northern New South Wales, we are thinking of you guys all. It does mean, of course, because we've got this massive storm system coming over. Like I was saying, it's raining in Sydney today. It is raining in Sydney today, but well needed. It's been pretty dry, and we need a bit of hydration coming our way, which is definitely not something that we are opposed to right now here in Sydney in New South Wales. Someone's just asking me, I'm on TikTok as well, guys, that's why I'm looking down. What do I look like with my hair up? I look like that. That's what I look like. I look like this. Hello, good morning, and saying good morning to, I can see Stephanie joining us, as well as Sharon and Wendy. Also, Tracy joining us, saying she's flying out to the USA today. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it. I'm sure they've got a workaround to avoid the big storm system that's just sitting off the eastern coast of Australia. Be safe with your journey to the US, Tracy, and also to everyone else. Just be safe, guys. Be absolutely safe. So, what we're going to be talking about today is an interesting little topic, and it's one that comes up every single day. Every single time I do a one-on-one nutritional session, I find myself repeating this. And so because I'm repeating it time and time again, I'm going to hazard a guess that it's pretty common. And in fact, there is this one healthy food that most people, and I mean most people, especially females, underconsume every single day. And this one healthy food is a big part of having great weight management. It's a big part of making sure that you stay strong and that you repair well, that you feel satisfied. And then there's so many benefits to this one healthy food. But unfortunately, it's one of these food groups that the majority of people, especially women, underconsume on a daily basis. And, when you kind of think about that, that's a little bit concerning because it's such a big part, or it should be such a big part of our everyday diet. So that one food that I'm talking about, of course, is protein. Now, let's talk about what protein is first. Protein is made up of amino acids, and it's these 9 essential amino acids that the body needs to keep our muscles strong. The body also needs these amino acids to repair itself daily, whether it's repairing cells or fibers or anything that's going on in the body that needs a little bit of work. We need protein to do that because of those amazing amino acids. But unfortunately, protein's had a bit of a bad reputation, especially within females, and a lot of that has to do with the diet culture that we have had existing, especially in the last sort of 50 years, right? 45 to 50 years, we've been experiencing the diet wars, and we've been told at one time, oh, you shouldn't eat too much red meat, or, only men should eat protein, not females, because protein, too much protein is bad for females and it'll make you look all muscular and you'll look like a bodybuilder. And what we're being taught during these diet culture years, from like the 70s till even now, is that in order to be beautiful, women had to be thin. And we were emphasizing the thinness and forgetting about the strength. So now we find with women who have gone through, especially women, and it's not just isolated to females, by the way, it's also within men too, is that because we've had this, protein, especially animal proteins, had such a bad rep. A lot of that was tied to cardiovascular disease, right? If you eat too much animal protein, you're going to get heart disease. So that was one of the reasons we stopped. But for females, it was like, oh, if you eat too much protein, you're going to look bulky. And the society was telling us that thin equals attractiveness. And we still have these hang-ups even now, except we've had 45, 50 years of that diet war, that diet culture that we've all experienced. And so we've come to this age now, especially within females, older females, where we're getting a lot of frailty because we've been always going for thinness and actually not concerning ourselves with just how important this one food group is. Now, I'm going to ask the question, can anyone here, especially if you are, whether you're joining me on TikTok or whether you're joining me on Facebook or YouTube, can anyone relate to what I'm talking about here? Aha, here we go. My first person relating, Tony, is saying strength is why I'm off to Pilates. Fantastic. Only a few weeks in and I'm building muscle, aiming for a six-pack. Well done, Tony. I reckon if anyone can do it, Tony can do it, right? Anyone who's in our community, our BHK community, going, yeah, if anyone can do it, Tony can do it. But she's absolutely right. So we've emphasized this thinness within females, and we've lost at the same time what actually keeps us standing up straight and what keeps us from becoming frail as we age. And that is muscle, because we're going, oh, protein's the enemy. Protein's going to give you cardiovascular disease. You're going to get heart disease, or, cardio will make you bulky. So we've had all these hang-ups or protein will make you bulky. We've had all these hang-ups, about protein for so many years. And the effects of that, we're really beginning to notice now. So what is the reasons why we need this protein? And I've got 10 reasons for you guys why we need protein, why protein is important, especially as we age. In fact, did you know this? We are supposed to eat more protein as we get older. Whereas what often happens is we do the opposite. We eat less protein as we get older, and we start to, prioritize things like, grains and carbohydrates, and we eat a lot of sugar, we eat a lot of starches, we eat a lot of bread, we eat smaller portions. So when we should be prioritizing protein, which is in the aging body, because naturally when we age, right, and this is known as sarcopenia. Naturally when we age is associated with the natural loss of muscle mass, sarcopenia. Now, protein has those essential amino acids, which is needed to maintain and repair the muscle tissue so that we slow down this natural decline, this natural loss of muscle mass or sarcopenia. So actually we need more protein because age is a condition that we can't stop. We're all going to age, whether we like it or not. But how well we age or how poorly we age, we can actually manipulate that. And one of the ways that we can really help to prevent natural muscle mass decline or sarcopenia is to ensure that we're eating enough protein every single meal. Now, here's a scary statistic for you guys, or scary fact. Especially when it comes to females, we tend to, as we get older, we tend to eat less protein. Some of it has to do with those diet trends that I've talked about. Some of it has to do just with the natural appetite reduction, so we're not eating as much. But often we'll find that females will not eat protein for breakfast. And all of you guys know I am a massive supporter of protein for everyone for breakfast, from kids right through to my mum having protein every single time she eats, especially at breakfast time, because most women don't. They don't eat protein for breakfast. If you're one of those people, please let me know in the comments. If you are potentially guilty of not having protein for breakfast, you are missing out on the prevention of natural muscle mass decline. So that's the first thing. Number one, we have to prevent natural age-related muscle decline. Number two, protein supports muscle strength. So when we're eating adequate protein throughout the day, and yes, you got to eat protein with every meal. Breakfast shouldn't be toast and jam and marmalade or whatever it might be in a cup of tea. Breakfast needs to be good quality protein, ideally animal-based protein, because animal-based protein is just a little bit easier for the body to use to prevent that muscle mass. So we need to get adequate protein at every meal, and ideally doing 3 meals a day, and every single meal has protein in there as well. Supporting muscle strength as we age is important, and protein, an adequate protein intake. Like, do not save all your protein up for one meal. You need to place it out through the day. So every time you eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, there needs to be protein. What a lot of people do is they have like no protein for breakfast. And tell me if you are one of these people. I'd love to hear if this is typically what you may find yourself doing. You don't eat protein for breakfast. You will have something that's carbohydrate loaded or starch loaded, right? That's how you start your day. So in other words, you're having, a croissant, or you're having some breakfast cereal, or you're having toast, which is really, really common, or you're having, whatever it might be, some berries, some fruit, a bit of a fruit salad to start your day. So you don't get any protein for breakfast. And then at lunchtime, very typical with females, you have a little bit of protein. Maybe put a little bit of chicken into that salad that you're eating, and you think you're doing an amazing job, and you may be doing a pretty good job. But I'm here to say we need to actually improve that by making sure that you're not just having a little protein at lunch, you're actually having a good amount of protein at lunch. And then we save up all our protein intake, and we literally try and get all our protein needs in that one meal, which happens to be at dinner time. And that's a very inefficient way of getting protein into your body throughout the day. We need to balance it out: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So supporting muscle strength means we're getting adequate protein intake. And then when we combine that, and this is really important, again, I'm talking not just to the aging individual. This is for everyone, and especially with females as we go through our late 30s, early 40s, really important for females as well, because another natural time where our muscle mass and our muscle strength is potentially at risk is when we start to go through perimenopause. We find that in perimenopause, women start to lose muscle mass and muscle strength. So we want to get adequate protein, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then when you combine that with what Tony's off to do, which is resistance training, This will help to maintain and it can even increase muscle strength. And this is absolutely vital for our continued mobility. And of course, in aging individuals, independence as well. So number 3, why we need protein at every single meal is it promotes fat loss. So protein has what is known as a very high thermic effect. So in other words, it burns more calories. Protein burns more calories as it's being digested. Now, it also helps to maintain lean muscle mass, which is really, really important. And this is what we need during weight loss. So we're maintaining lean muscle mass during weight loss or fat loss, but we're also at the same time promoting fat loss through the increase of protein. Does that make sense, guys? I really hope it does. All right, next one. Protein helps to reduce frailty. And when I'm talking about that independence as we age, we don't want to become frail. And frailty in older adults is often linked to that muscle weakness or that loss of muscle function or muscle strength. And of course, protein helps to fight against that risk of becoming frail and losing our independence. And it also helps to repair muscles, right? Protein is needed for repairing muscles and just that overall like physical, like strength and resilience that we all need as we start to go through different years and different stages of our life. Another one is that protein is required to keep our bones healthy. Now, in fact, protein is essential for this. Absolutely essential for this. Because again, as we age, especially in females, we lose bone density. And when we lose bone density, we increase the risk of fractures and we increase the risk of osteoporosis as well. And these are all really, really common, right? We always hear of someone elderly falling and breaking something and fracturing something or being diagnosed with osteoporosis because they've lost their bone density. Well, guess what's going to help to improve the bone density? That's right, protein with every meal. I'm going to keep on saying this for a long time because it's that important, and I see it every single day. People saying to me, I normally have berries and yogurt for breakfast, and I'm like, no. You need good quality protein and fiber and healthy fats for breakfast. So we need to be really sure that breakfast and lunch isn't just a salad with a little bit of chicken. Lunch is chicken with a little bit of salad, right? Making sure that you're prioritizing your protein. Another reason is that as we age, we're also, are at higher risk of illnesses and, of course, injury. So if we're not eating enough protein, your recovery time is slower because protein supports that tissue repair and muscle repair. And it also, protein is needed to improve the immune system, the immune functioning. So when we're ill or when we're recovering from surgery or an illness or a fall, we need to increase our protein because that is going to help to speed up our recovery times. So it enhances that moment as well. Protein is also necessary to boost metabolism, which is really important, as we know, because muscle tissue is really, really active. It's like really, really busy. And by boosting our protein, we can boost our metabolism, which means we're burning calories more efficiently, of course. And that is going to help us to maintain that muscle mass and that muscle strength. Now, protein also supports or helps you just to feel fuller longer, which is really important too, right? So it promotes that satiety, that satisfaction. So protein is also necessary for weight management because protein is just highly satisfying. It reduces hunger. And here's the thing about protein, it's really hard to overconsume protein. I'm not sure if any of you guys have ever noticed that it's really hard to sit down and eat an extra steak right? You eat one thing, like, oh, I'm done. It's really easy to sit down and eat a whole packet of chips or a whole packet of biscuits because that food is not satisfying. That food actually dysregulates the hormonal expression that tells your brain, your gut will send a message to your brain going, I'm full now, it's time to stop eating. And your brain goes, okay. And then you feel full. Well, that signaling is actually disrupted when you're eating a lot of highly processed, highly refined, sugary, starchy foods. But that signaling is right on point when you're filling up with protein. So it's really hard to overeat protein. But of course, it's really important to eat all your protein. So protein will help with weight management because it promotes satisfaction. It promotes satiety. It promotes the release and the regulation of your I'm full hormone, which is known as leptin, by the way. That signaling that goes from your gut to your brain, and you go, hey, I'm full, and then you stop eating. So protein is also necessary just to maintain that independence that I've spoken about before, because strong muscles, strong bones, they are like just essential for daily activities like walking or climbing, climbing up the stairs, or even like just things like carrying your groceries or doing the gardening. Protein helps preserve or look after that physical strength that we all need just to do those daily tasks. So I'm talking about the reduction of being frail and the increase of independence as we age. And let's be honest, protein just improves overall health, overall longevity, overall health longevity. Because one of the things that we know is that women tend to outlive men by about 4 to 5 years on average. But women spend more time throughout their life being in ill health. And one of the things that we have to be really mindful of is the role that protein plays in our life when it comes to our ability just to be able to recover from illnesses, recover from a fall, support our weight as we are falling and not do real damage to our bones, keep our bone density up, and of course, keep our muscle mass on our bodies and our muscles strong. So how much protein should you be consuming every day? Does anyone want to know? Does anyone want to know? Oh, I can see, here's a comment. Sorry, I'm just doing a comment on TikTok. I'm doing a comment up here on Facebook. So Teresa's saying, yes, I was toast and tea for breakfast, crackers or biscuits for morning tea, sandwiches for lunch. Yes, I can actually, I know this to be true. I have seen this in action. And dinner was always just a little bit of protein. And, Teresa's saying, no wonder I've lost muscle mass. And it's so common. It's really, really common for us to underconsume, like I said, especially females, especially as we age, because we're not only dealing with the societal norms that we grew up with, which is, you have toast for breakfast, and then you have a muffin for morning tea, and then you might have some crackers or something like that for lunch, and then you have this big meal at night, which usually contained a bit of protein, but it was probably more carbs, to be honest. It was potatoes and things like that, and then those habits, those behaviors have followed us right through our life till we get to this part of our life when we start to get a little bit older and we see that breakdown of muscle. So how much protein do we need every single day to make sure that you are maintaining muscle mass, you are looking after muscle strength? And I'm going to back this up by saying not only do we have to do that with food, but we also have to back it up with things like resistance training, which means that we are using our muscles and building more lean muscle. But how much protein do you need to do just to maintain the very simple parts of muscle mass, muscle strength, bone density? All right, so the general recommendation is around about 1 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilo of body weight per day. Now that all sounds very confusing. Don't worry, I'm going to make it seem a lot easier than this. Let's do it per meal, because ideally you're eating 3 meals a day and you're spacing those meals out depending on whatever, whatever your normal time frame is. Maybe you have breakfast at 8 o'clock in the morning, you have lunch at 12, and you have dinner at 6. That's absolutely fantastic. Me personally, I break my fast at around about 10, 11 o'clock. I will then have lunch at around about 2 o'clock, and dinner is usually about 6. I just condense my eating into a smaller eating window, but that's how I do it. But it's 3 meals a day. And every time I sit down to that meal, I make sure I'm getting protein. So to maximize protein, to maximize muscle strength, muscle mass, and bone density, you need to be getting at every meal 25 to 30 grams of high quality protein per meal. To give you an example of what that looks like, say like 100-gram piece of steak will have between 20 to 30 grams of protein in it. Just to give you an idea, 100 to 100. I always aim for the higher personally. I'm like 125 grams of steak because I know I've got my protein in that meal. And that's, remember, with every meal. That's with every meal. That's not just one meal a day. That's every single meal. Now, for people who are active or even people who are frail, we can actually push that protein up even a little bit more. But on average, the general recommendation is we're looking at 25 to 30 grams of protein, which is around about 100 to 120 gram piece of steak or chicken. I'm talking about the high quality proteins here, or livers. Love livers, by the way, very good source of protein. We're looking at that, and that is breakfast, and that is lunch, and that is dinner. I'm going to give you an example of what breakfast looks like in my house. So breakfast in my house is I'll make like a meat and vegetable hash that I'll fry up in the pan, and that would be for 5 days breakfast. I would probably put about 500 grams, which is just over a pound of, let's say, a really good quality beef mince, a lean one, but not too lean because you need a bit of healthy fats. And then I'd fry that off with onions and garlic and ginger and spices, like all those anti-inflammatory spices like turmeric and cinnamon. And I'll put that all together with some black pepper, and then I'll throw in a whole big heap, like 4 or 5 big handfuls of diced vegetables, and I'll just kind of scramble that all up in a pan with a little bit of, I might even put in some firm tofu in there. I might do that sort of thing. And I would even go as far, and then I'll portion that up. There'll be like 5 portions for the week. I'd even go as far as to add a fried or poached egg on top, just for a bit more healthy fats and a bit more protein as well. So that would be a general breakfast for me. That's how I kind of break apart my breakfast. There's other things that I'll put on it just to maximize my gut health, maximize my my nutritional intake with my fiber, but that is generally what a breakfast will look like in my house, right? Prioritizing the protein. In fact, I've got protein via tofu, which is a good quality. I use an organic tofu. I've got protein via the lean beef that I'm using as well, the ground beef, and I've also got protein via just that little egg yolk that I've got in there too, or the egg white, sorry, that I've got in there as well. So there's so many ways that you can slice and dice it. But the rule of thumb that's really going to help is if you look to, in general, get between 25 to 30 grams of protein every single meal. And if you are frail, or if you are active, or if you are recovering from an illness or an injury, I would actually push that protein up even more. So when I say active, maybe you're training for something, I would push that protein up even more. Or maybe that you need to just be, you're just wanting to really build lean muscle, I would also push that protein up even more as well. So I'm hoping that that's kind of helped a little bit with you guys, because I know for me personally, I feel better when I've had protein. I feel more complete. We are at the gym, well, not at the moment, but we have been doing a lot of gym activities as well. So making sure that that I'm getting my protein after my workout as well, just to make sure that I'm maximizing my body's ability to repair, to create more lean muscle mass, and also just to look after those bones as well. So get your protein into you today. If you're not doing enough protein, and you know it, now that I've said it, I don't even do nearly enough protein, it might be time for you to reevaluate your nutritional intake. And you need to do it now before there's a problem. Because often what happens is we wait until there's an issue and I might want to sort that out. But actually being proactive when it comes to your nutrition is the best way to be. So protein with every meal, remember that. If you are at all confused about what sort of protein you should be having, and I'm talking about good quality lean protein, animal protein is always the best source of protein because our body can deal with it a lot better. It's more available to our body to use, to repair and to build and to strengthen. That's just what animal protein is. There are a few good sources of plant-based proteins, but they never will be quite as efficient or as effective as animal protein. So, of course, I'm talking about all of our red meats. So beef and lamb, pork is generally considered to be a red meat, pork. But I'm also talking about game meats as well, which are really high in protein. So whether it be venison or deer, or elk is really popular in parts of the world. Things like poultry, so all of our ducks and our chickens are really good. Eggs are another good source of protein. You can also consider our fishy friends. So a good quality protein from the ocean would be something like an oily fish, because it's got a lot more nutritional value. Not a lot more, but it's got more goodies in there in the way of omega-3 fatty acids. So I'm talking about salmon or mackerel. I'm also talking about anchovies as well, which is really, really good. Sardines are another good one. Try to avoid, when it comes to protein, and where we can often make a few little errors, so try to avoid protein that is processed. In other words, deli meats, like processed sausages, salamis, all the things you would normally find in a deli, like sliced ham and all that sort of stuff. Stay away from those ones. Stay away from the processed meats. Go for the whole meats. The only reason being is that processed meats tend to have a lot of preservatives, a lot of additives that are unnecessary, and also we run the risk of having too many nitrates, which are, of course, carcinogenic. So you want to stay away from processed meats. What is a processed meat? A hot dog, like a sausage, that goes like a frankfurter. That stuff is not good quality protein. You want to go for the good quality, leaner cuts of protein. But also, if you were looking at plant-based proteins, the ones that I would recommend would be an organic tofu, whether it be silken tofu or a firm, hard tofu that you can then slice up and fry. Another great one is tempeh, which is fermented soybean, comes in a block, and you can slice it and then throw it into stir fries or put it through scrambled or whatever you want to do. Like, my scramble that I talked about with the meat and with the vegetables, you could replace the meat with some tempeh that you've just diced up. That's another good one. Another good plant-based protein that I would recommend would be a part of the legume family, and that is known as lupin beans. You could buy some lupin beans and throw them in as protein. In fact, that's probably my favorite protein source from the legume family, because a lot of the other legumes like lentils and chickpeas, yes, they do have a protein content, but they also have a high carbohydrate load, and you will be spiking your blood sugar, which you want to avoid. So I go for something like a lupin bean, which is a very low carbohydrate load, really high in protein, really high in fiber. In fact, it kicks lentil and chickpeas butt in terms of the protein, fiber, and low carb value of this product, and it makes really nice bread. Yeah, it does. You make protein bread. So get in your protein. Don't forget, another great form of protein is grass-fed gelatin, which I have every single day. In fact, I have my cup here. I make protein tea. So I get my grass-fed gelatin, make my green tea like normal, or even put it into my black coffee like normal, and I dissolve a teaspoon of gelatin, grass-fed gelatin, into my cup. I'm getting protein, I'm getting collagen for my skin and my hair, I'm getting, bone strength, I'm getting joint health, and looking after my protein needs and my cup of tea, which is really exciting. So great spending some time with you guys this morning. Hope you all have a fabulous day today. To our friends and family in Queensland, I'm hoping the preparations for the Cat 2 Cyclone Alfred, I hope the preparations are going well for you guys. If you've got any questions in regards to what I can do food-wise over the next couple of days, please reach out to us here at Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. We'll be more than happy to give you guys some advice about what we can do to make sure that, even though you're going to, this is a really scary weather event happening in southeast Queensland, northern New South Wales, we can still look after our body, look after our protein needs, look after our gut health, look after our brain health, and of course, support our heart health as well. So be well, everyone. Have a fabulous day today. Wherever you are in the world, be well and be safe. And we'll see you soon. To TikTok, I'll say goodbye first. Bye, guys. Have a great day today. Oh, got to turn it off. Here we go. Bye, guys. And of course, to you guys here on Facebook and YouTube, have a wonderful day today. Whatever it is you're doing, just be safe and be well. And we'll see you guys all. Oh, actually, I forgot to say, I'm doing a cooking class tonight. Come and join me. I'm doing a pickle cooking class tonight. I'm going to be doing zucchini pickles because I've got lots of zucchinis. I will, if you're still here with me now, it's going to be about 6 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Time. I will put out a reminder on Facebook so you guys can all join me for my zucchini pickles class. I might make some pickle. We'll just do pickles. I want to do some pickling. I want to make it a pickle day here at Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. So until then, tonight, be well, be safe. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.